Hello and welcome to Alternate Ending, where we are still discovering good movies, one bad movie at a time. I am your host for this week, Brennan Klein, and with me are Caleb Wimble. How are you doing today, Caleb?
Hello. I'm doing pretty well. No complaints on my end. How about you, Brennan?
I am so happy to hear that. I can complain as much as anybody wants me to. I have so many I can dole out, but I am mostly also fine. And I am also excited to say we are joined by Gavin McDowell. How are you doing, Gavin?
I'm doing pretty great. I've been day drinking, but unfortunately, you won't be able to tell. My faculties are still intact.
You have a higher tolerance than that.
I'm working on it.
Okay, good to know. We're chipping away at your sobriety throughout the episode. We will be talking about the upcoming cinema of May 2026, for which you might want to be a bit tipsy. But first, let's talk about movies we have seen recently in our roundtable. I think Gavin, you have two. How about we start with one of yours, and then we'll go to me and Caleb.
Well, I mean, the thing is, the two movies I'm covering are actually pretty close to one movie or one and a half movies.
Okay, then let's do both.
So, right, I'll be quick. Okay, so last weekend, I decided to do a double feature of They Will Kill You and Ready or Not, Here I Come. And both of those films, like when I saw the preview for They Will Kill You, I actually thought it was Ready or Not 2. That was a preview for that. So they're about basically women fighting against a group, like a satanic cult that is trying to kill them. And in fact, They Will Kill You. Actually, they have one more thing in common. That's not evident from the trailer. They Will Kill You is that you learn that Zazie Beetz' character is not entering this haunted hotel as an innocent waif, but she's actually trying to recover her sister who has been claimed by the hotel already. And the satanic cult discovers pretty early on that she's armed to the teeth. And then, of course, you have the two sisters now in Ready or Not 2. That way they add stakes to the premise of the original. It's basically one of those horror sequels that's the original again. With some things. I know that Brennan's at least seen that one. Caleb, have you seen it?
No, I've not seen it yet. No, though I did enjoy the original quite a bit, so I will.
It's pretty much in the footsteps of the original. And so I want to talk about the ways that They Will Kill You is actually different from Ready or Not, in that it is structured a bit like The Raid. The action movie, including the plot beat. In the raid, he's actually going in to save his brother, who's part of a gang. Spoiler for this very plot intensive movie where the plot's extremely important. And it's a cross between the raid and a little bit a cross between the Evil Dead, because the supernatural stuff is a lot more prominent. They Will Kill You than in Ready or Not. To the point where I feel like this is a spoiler because it's not in the trailers, but they reveal it to you pretty early on that the cultists are immortal. You can kill them, but they will come back, and that generates some interesting moments where, for example, Zazie Beetz is being chased around by a headless person, and that felt very Raimi-esque. The problem is that this movie is inferior to both The Evil Dead and The Raid. Much more of an action movie. The choreography I thought was quite good. Zazie Beetz, I think, is better as an action star than as an actress. I found some of the acting in that one pretty spotty. But it actually, she goes toe to toe with Satan at the end, which they don't do in Ready or Not. So that's something. There's creature effects. So it's not a great movie by any means. I think it's inferior to the Ready or Not sequel, which relies more on humor, successful humor, and character dynamics. And it has the bare bones of an Eat the Rich narrative, but it doesn't give a shit. It's presuming that you hate rich assholes the same way you're supposed to hate Nazis in movies. I guess focus on that one. I would recommend it, but I can't guarantee that anyone will come away with the same. Like watching it back to back with Ready or Not 2 was a great double feature. It was a great experience. And I presume more people have seen the second film, so I won't elaborate on it too much, except that Samara Weaving does some impressive snarling in that. And I've been wondering, like, in the Weaving family, did she learn that from her uncle, or is that genetics? Is inherits from Hugo and whatever brother or sister is Samara's mother or father. I don't know.
Probably a bit of
I don't
column
know the
A, column
specifics
B.
there. So I guess I don't want to take up anyone else's space. So you could interrogate me more. Brennan could talk more about Ready or Not too, since he has seen it.
Yeah,
Liked it about as much as I did.
yeah, definitely diminishing returns. I thought it was fine. I like the same concept, but more. A lot of the more was pretty good. Except they add the dynamic of they have Catherine Newton as Samara Weaving's sister, and I just
Hmm.
don't think that relationship works for me at all.
Oh.
Um, it's really important for how the movie functions, but I think it's treated really shallowly, personally. But I don't know. Like I have been not invested in sister relationships in multiple movies that are like really popular because of the sister relationships, and I
Mm.
am talking specifically about Frozen. um but so what the fuck do I know? But I'm excited to see They Will Kill You. I missed it because that came out like
What
the weekend after my wedding, so I was busy.
the
um
sequel, the sisterhood dynamic in that is far weaker than the one in Ready or Not too. So
oh,
maybe
I'm
that made Ready or Not too feel like Shakespeare after
okay,
watching
good to
that.
know.
And they're both the younger sister is mad because the older sister abandoned her. It's like exactly the same.
Oh my
Uh,
God,
it makes you wonder.
it is so wild how those
Wish,
two movies came out one weekend apart. um
well, that happens from time to time. You have these dueling movies. I think maybe we should have an episode dedicated to that. I'll throw
that's a
it
good
into the
idea.
suggestion
Oh yeah,
box.
yeah. Of,
box.
of like sort of your The Core and Armageddon type things of where like the same
You bet.
script was going around Hollywood or deep in whatever it
Deep
is.
Yeah, yeah, and
Impact.
there's
Deep
the two
Impact.
volcano
Yes.
movies.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
The two volcano movies,
Yeah.
volcano and Dante's Peak. Speaking of Dante,
Yeah.
the hotel in this and They Will Kill You is
Of
called the
course.
Virgil. But
Oh
I
my
mean, they could
goodness.
have called it the Dante. That's why I called it the Virgil. It's like, what is this? What does this have to do with the Aeneid? I was like, and then there are 9 floors in it. I was like, oh right,
Right.
fair enough.
This
Uh,
hotel will take you to hell.
Okay,
yeah,
look, I
Hell.
I like a dumb obvious metaphor that's just barely buried beneath
the
like an inch of dirt.
the 9th floor is frozen. Like there is issue with the
Anna and
heating up
Elsa
there,
are
and it becomes
there.
cold, and that's really
Okay.
cool. And the second floor is the fuck floor, and they call it the fuck floor. And at
Okay.
one point, the
Hmm.
headless minion has to tell the other person that she's on the fuck floor, but they only have their hands. They have to charade it,
Okay. Well,
gesticulate. That was pretty funny.
that sounds pretty good. We're getting into a lot of like spoilery territory, so I think we're gonna move on to Caleb's pick. What do you have, Caleb?
I really, really wanted to see the Chinese animated film Nobody yesterday. Was supposed to, and it turns out and I started watching a version the version that's being streamed in the U.S. that is dubbed in such a way, I think into Cantonese, that it has no audio track outside the voices, which was unacceptable to me.
Oh,
All the Foley and music and everything. So I switched gears. I watched a movie that has been very heavily recommended to me in the past few weeks, and that is Nirvana, the band, the show, the movie, which could as well be titled Nirvana, the band, the series, the show, the movie, because it is the brainchild and lovechild of Matt Johnson and Jay McCarroll, a group of Toronto sketch artists, musicians maybe, who are playing fictionalized versions of themselves. This began as a web series from 2007 to 2009, Nirvana, the band, the show. The whole concept of which is that they are going to extreme lengths every episode to book their band a gig at the Rivoli in Toronto. The Rivoli being like a music venue bar thing. And they do this in the most ass backwards way possible, which is that they are convinced that the first step of becoming musicians is to book a band or to book a showing
Venue.
for their band to book a gig. And so they don't like record an album first or even maybe write any complete songs first. They're convinced they have to find a way to get the Rivoli to let them do a show that will allow them to arrive, kind of. And I have not seen the web series. My understanding it's a series of shorts of them attempting to accomplish that in different ways. Then there was an adaptation for TV, sort of, for Viceland, the ill-fated Vice network that ran for 2 seasons from 2017 to 18. Third season got canceled or was filmed and then not released due to Viceland getting the axe, along with all of Vice's many other pivot to video disasters. And then apparently Johnson directed the film Blackberry specifically so that he could get to the third season released, get some, some clout, and that I think was a surprisingly good movie. I did not expect to like Blackberry, it did quite a bit. And long story short, that allowed them to finance the movie, which they've made now, which is kind of a silly little, extremely lo-fi, looks kind of no budget, but had a couple $1 million to do. It has like guerrilla filmmaking vibes in parts of it. Even though, of course, they must have had filming permits for the scenes involving the CN Tower and various shenanigans they get into with the CN Tower on the top of the CN Tower. Because this turns out to be a time travel movie. One of their many, many ridiculous plans to get into the Tivoli, other than like jumping off the CN Tower and skydiving into a sports dome, the sports dome below, is to fake a time travel sequence inspired by Back to the Future, and then convince people that they went back to 2008 and altered the course of the present, and they have to get back there to fix everything, and that this will somehow get them a score at the Rivoli. In doing so, they accidentally invent a real time machine with a flux capacitor, and they wind up back in 2008. And that part of it is made very cleverly, I think, by interspersing unused footage from their web series back then to recreate 2008 Toronto. And there's even a gag with like, oh, we can't be seen walking around with this 2026 camera. We have to use like an old digital camera from, or maybe it's a Red One or something from around that time. And yeah, so that's basically the how the movie plays out. That's the weird production history of it. It's full of hijinks, and this very like silly commitment to the bit is kind of the whole thrust of this movie. And I think how funny you find the movie will depend on how funny you find the core concept, even of just these two guys trying to make it in music by scoring themselves a show for which they've done none of the other steps to lead up to that, and don't even really have they don't even have a full book of songs to play. They're kind of just making it up as they go along. I found it again. It was really hyped up to me. I know a lot of people who adore this movie who just thought it was hysterical, the funniest movie they'd seen in years. It wasn't that for me. It was mostly like a polite chuckle kind of movie at many points. Kind of. It was silly, like I said. I enjoyed parts of it. I think the funniest moment for me in the whole movie is when Matt Johnson's character, who's not realized they're in the past until this point, walks into a theater showing of The Hangover, and is watching it and sitting through it and still thinking he's in the present. And the whole audience starts laughing hysterically at the paging Dr. Faggot joke. And he just has this expression sitting there looking around and seeing the entire theater in hysterics over just, a joke that pretty much amounts to broy guys shouting a gay slur at each other in a circle. And his expression is completely priceless, like as he slowly kind of slumps down in the seats and then realizes he's back in time. But yeah, I was not head over heels for it, but it's only like 88 minutes long or something like that. It's 100 minutes, sorry. But it really felt breezy. It flew right by. Easy film to watch, even if the sense of humor doesn't completely jive with you. So I can't give it a strong recommendation for me personally, but if you think this sounds funny, you should check it out. And Brendan, you've seen this as well, right?
Yes, I did see it in theaters. I also have not seen the series. I think seeing the series probably helps quite a bit, although it is kind of designed to let you walk in uninformed about what it is. But I was left similarly cold. I wasn't really that. Just the thing that they were doing, I was like, aha, yes, this is a comedy, but it didn't connect with my sense of humor personally.
Mm-hmm.
Also, the thing about what they do is they do it kind of like Borat style or Jackass style, where the people that they're interacting with out on the street don't know that
Yeah.
they're filming a movie. It's all, or I mean, a lot of it is them trying to provoke genuine reactions from people out in the world who don't know what's
Yes.
happening. But then mixed with kind of Werner Herzog-esque with like completely fake ass shit that doesn't blend with it very well. I don't know. Just
Mm.
the idea of what they're doing here, I was just not that impressed by it. I don't know. I was left so cold. Like there was a thing where it's like, oh, we had to have one of the non-actors who didn't know he was in a movie say the name Jay. So like the actor who knew what was going on, like spent like an hour with this guy trying to coax him into saying the name Jay. And I'm just like, just hire an actor to do it. Like, I don't get why we're bothered. It's just not funny enough to me to be worth all of this rigmarole, and the gimmick just
Yeah. Yeah.
didn't work for me at all. Especially because they clearly did hire actors for other parts that were aesthetically the same. So it's like, well, I can't believe that anything I'm looking at actually happened, which ma ruins the magic of that whole concept. I don't know. Maybe I couldn't
Yeah.
suspend disbelief to the right distance from myself to make that work for me.
I agree. They don't get much mileage out of it. It's mostly just people's reactions on the streets to them, like, messing around with a wire and a phone pole or something. And
Yeah.
they don't. There's not much there other than maybe the scene with the security guard for the CN Tower, where they are attempting to
Mm.
bring in like sort of devices to be able to cut their lifelines when they're up there, so that they can leap off the building.
Yeah.
That scene with him like calling up and being like, "Yeah, they say it's for cutting their pants or whatever." That was kind of amusing. Like that was something where it felt like they got the guerrilla filmmaking reaction they wanted. And maybe in the hardware store when they're buying those
Yes. Yeah.
things and
Yeah.
there's just a beleaguered
That was a
employee.
good one.
But otherwise, yeah, you wouldn't even know it was like Borat style because the interactions are so sparse and like kind of, just, one-liners from somebody in the crowd. They're not like the kind of long bits from like that you get on Kunk on Earth or something of the interview
Mm.
or the extended piece of somebody's life there. It's um yeah, I think you're right that it doesn't pay off as much as you would want it to. Well, at least for either of us, I guess.
And
Yeah.
there's no connection whatsoever to Kurt Cobain's Nirvana.
No, it
No.
is
Because
intentionally spelled with like
two
Nirvana
ends.
with two N's at the end.
That's a joke. That's one of the jokes in the film. Is that
But the
Well,
show
it's
was with
slightly
that's
one
different.
with one N, so I don't know if that was like
Okay.
a not getting sued
wait,
thing.
what was spelled with one N?
The web
Uh,
series was
Oh,
with
I didn't know that.
yeah with one N, and there's like there's one of the characters, or I say characters, some person on the street that they approach in the movie is like, really, your band is called Nirvana, Nirvana the band. Like that's pretty much the only acknowledgement of it that I remember.
Yeah.
Because when people started logging on Letterboxd, I thought, what the hell is
Yeah,
this?
yeah,
I was like, that's
same,
not
same.
Nirvana. That's
No, it is not. But that is part of the joke, but it is a joke that is, I believe, endemic to the original series, and it's not really something that they felt they needed to address
Mm,
in the movie.
hilarious.
makes
Okay.
sense.
But yes, the movie that I'm bringing to the table today is The Strangers, Chapter 3, which is the fifth installment in the Strangers franchise.
I'm shocked you're bringing this. Just shocked that you would watch this movie.
Well, I am me. I do need to keep going with horror franchises beyond the point that I should have abandoned them. So obviously, so real quick background, in 2008, I think, the original Brian Bertino, The Strangers comes out. It's kind of a solid cult hit, very grim home invasion movie. 10
Mm,
years later, it gets a sequel called The Strangers Prey at Night that I like quite a bit, but it's very slick. It's set at like a trailer park, and it's about like a family trying to escape from the strangers, who are these masked killers who kill you because you're home, because you're there. It's meant to be this sinister thing. And then about 3 years ago, no, I guess 2 years ago, when The Strangers Chapter 1 debuts, it's basically the whole concept behind this is Rennie Harlan is like, okay, what if I shot a movie in fucking Eastern Europe?
hmm
It shot an entire trilogy explaining the origin of the strangers. Um, and I I would the argument that he should have received and internalized was, don't fucking do that because they're strangers and we don't need to know about them. Um, but the it's just, I've seen all three of these movies. It flames on the side of my face. That's how I feel about The Strangers, chapter 1, 2, and 3. Um, it fails even at the thing that it was already going to fail at, but in a different
Mm,
way. Because the whole idea of trying to explain The Strangers is a failure. But it can't even do that. So it doesn't connect at all to the first two movies, which I think is a very good thing, but does result in the trilogy having to introduce the concept of the strangers and then explain that specific concept for the strangers. So it has to invent a story and then tell you why that's happening, but all the explanations they have don't make any sense, and they're really boring. These movies are outrageously bad. Part three is, it might not even be the worst, but it's one of the worst. Rennie Harlin is in. He's the rare filmmaker who seems to get worse with every movie that he makes. Um, and these are not bad good movies, but if you need to just experience what the kind of bottom of the barrel that like the guardrails of the IP development system will allow you. Like just if you want to see how far that will let you get, uh
Hmm.
great trilogy to watch.
This reminds me, we had a conversation on Discord like just today or yesterday about the need to fill in gaps as a franchise extension mechanism,
Mm.
of which Lord of the Rings is particularly guilty at the moment.
Oh yeah.
Is turning the strangers into familiars feels like part of that, and also I'm glad you brought up a Rennie Harlan film because we'll have cause to talk about him later.
Oh, we certainly will. But that's a great transition actually. Unless Caleb, have you seen The Strangers Chapter 3?
I have not seen chapters 2 or 1 either. No.
Great. Don't. Anyway, the cinema of May 2026 is why we have gathered here today. We've got quite a few wide releases to talk about before we kind of wrap up with some limited release talk at the end. We are largely going by the North American calendar, but Gavin is also bringing some French releases from
Just
across the pond.
briefly,
Yeah, yeah, no worries. But I will prompt you when we get to that point. I have it all written down.
I'll,
Um,
I'll tip my hand. I'm glad you did bring those, Gavin, because I was a lot more excited for the French release slate.
oh my
yeah,
God, yeah. We're
me,
getting a
me,
lot of
me too.
movies, but maybe not the best. I don't know. We'll see. April's been
There's
kind of
some
a ghost town for me, so May could be so much better.
there are movies I want to see on this list. Uh,
Yeah, yeah, there. Same here.
Maybe even films I'll enjoy.
That would be nice. But let's start with May 1st. First coming up, the this is kind of the maybe even the summer kickoff if we like, it's not quite, it's building up slowly, but like this is kind of the big blockbuster
Yeah.
That's sad.
thing. But yes, we are talking about The Devil Wears Prada 2, 20 years later. Everyone but the guy from Entourage is back. Um, how are we feeling about this?
Well,
Caleb, let's start with. Oh, no, sorry, Gavin, you were talking.
I'm sorry. Like, is this based on the sequel novel or is this an entirely new story?
It is absolutely not based on the sequel novel, which I have
Oh,
read and is one of the worst novels I've ever read. So I'm very happy to hear
Wow,
that.
wow, wow.
okay.
Okay.
So dodging that bullet.
Yeah,
Well,
it is dodging a huge bullet.
I have seen. I mean, I saw the original
Hmm.
back when Anne Hathaway was like an ingenue, and now she's like a real like a full fledged adult, right? So
Hmm.
I don't know. I don't. The story didn't really leave room for a sequel, which I guess explains why the novel is so bad. And the only thing you can really think about is like whenever I see Stanley Tucci now, I think of Stanley Tucci mainly as the villain from the Terminal. So
Oh,
which
okay.
is not
Sure.
not represent
Oh,
that's not it's not at all representative. It's not at all representative of the roles that he's played in his long career. But it was the first time I realized that was Stanley Tucci. So every subsequent
Hmm.
film, I think
huh.
that's the villain from the Terminal. So I watched the trailer for this. My first thought was, oh, they brought back the villain from the Terminal, and Anne
Wow.
Hathaway is too old. I'm not interested in what she's doing now. So that's, I mean, she's still very beautiful. That's just, I mean, they kind of upsets the balance of the story. This young
Well, she's not.
girl with a crazy employer, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, which she seems to be from the trailer I watched, like an accomplished journalist at this point, and she's. It seems like they're setting up for an interview with Miranda, but then also somehow she winds up working for her as a
As an
publicist to deal with some
editor.
crisis, or as
Oh,
an
I
editor.
think she becomes an editor at the
Becomes an
magazine.
editor. Okay. Um, and yeah, I mean, I quite liked the original. I did not fall in love with it to the generation defining classic reputation and adoration that it has. Like, I feel like among
Is
most
that
other
is that its
millennials.
reputation? It
I
Yes,
would
just
among
say so.
gays
it
at
feels.
least. Yes,
Oh,
it's
okay. Excuse me. I'm out of the loop
And
there.
but
It's for
and
me.
and women, I believe.
and women. Yeah,
Millennial
yeah.
women.
I mean,
It's extremely popular.
for me, it's a movie I saw and liked in like 2000. I didn't watch it when it first came out, like 2008 maybe.
2006.
It was like no, but
Oh, sorry. Yeah, sorry.
when I saw it, like I saw it like 3 or 4 years after it
Yes,
came
makes
out.
sense. Sorry about
And I
that.
was like,
Yeah,
this was okay. and then I didn't think about it ever again. That's
And I enjoyed it more. I'd say more than okay. I really liked it enough to watch it again, and I like the characters in it. We've got some real big memorable performances and lines that come out of it. So I'm kind of okay with them going back to the well after all these years. I don't really have high expectations of a sequel, but if it's just treading in a lot of those same jokes and dynamics again, and resetting everything between Miranda and what's Anne Hathaway's characters
Andy Sachs.
and Andy Sachs, then that's like a very safe Hollywood sequel thing to do. It doesn't really excite me. I did notice in this latest trailer, was it just me, or have they redone the color grading after getting burned on the internet for the early footage looking so dark and dingy? Like it
it's
still
the
looks
Sonic
flatly
effect.
lit, but
That would be excellent. I have not seen the new trailer, so I cannot report back on that.
okay.
But I will say, like, I really, really like the original Devil Wears Prada. I do think it's a classic. I don't know if it's like, one of the best movies of all time. But I really enjoy it. But yeah, I do agree with both of you. Like, just the idea of changing the dynamic from my boss is a bitch to my coworker is a bitch. It's just like it really
Mm-mm.
lessens the power. The it just all of it's kind of strange. The movie frankly doesn't look that good or funny probably, but I mean, I will watch it and I will probably enjoy it. It feels like one of those completely empty sequels that just exist to like take a bath in the universe one more time. You're like, here are the
Yeah.
characters, here are the places, you like these things. We're gonna kind of we're just gonna kind of sit here and let you look at them for a little while and not challenge you too much. And that can be
Yeah.
okay. It won't be a great movie, but I wouldn't
And the
mind that
only unusual
experience.
thing is that it took them 20 years to do that, when in the 90s you would have made this like a year or two later, right? To do that sort of
Yeah,
sequel.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, I don't know. Some licensing person like took their eye off the ball and they snatched it back up. I don't know. But yeah, let's move on. Also, similarly, I think just as big as Devil Wears Prada is going to be the new horror movie Hokum out May 1st. It's from, oh God, I didn't write it down, but it's from director Damian McCarthy, I believe. He did a movie
hmm
called Oddity that was big a year or two ago. I did not see that, but it's Adam Scott going to this like Irish inn and weird things happen. I don't know. What are we thinking? Caleb, what do you think?
They show way too much of the hokey, clownish demon, like whatever the creature is in this
I think it's a
trailer, the
witch.
Irish folklore creature or something. Yeah, sure, witch, whatever it is. Like that's usually a bad sign for me in this sort of monster movie, when we're getting early and often shots of the not particularly scary monster, and that played as the crux of the horror. um, those are not usually the. And I love a lot of horror movies. Horror is maybe my favorite genre, but those are not the ones in particular that I tend to go for. The shots of, oh, look at, and then another woman with like a weird rabbit costume and freaky eyeballs. I'm not sure if that's supposed to be a mask in the movie or not. It's hard to tell from the makeup. But it's doing the whole, I guess, the village of the damned thing. What's up with these creepy Irish villagers in this town that I'm visiting? It just felt very rote by the numbers in the trailer. What did you all think?
Well, I thought it had been getting good word of mouth. Uh, and the only reservation I had after watching the trailer was Adam Scott as as a protagonist in a horror movie.
Uh,
It's like I feel like in a horror movie you should be concerned if something bad will happen to the character. I've only seen Adam Scott in comic roles. It'll be like seeing Steve Carell in a horror movie, like as the main character. It was like, do you think I don't feel scared for Adam Scott?
did
uh,
you watch Severance? I forget, because that's sort of his defining
I did
role
not.
for me now. Okay, yeah, and that's like halfway towards being horror sometimes. Speaking of another movie
Okay.
we'll get to on this list with the Backrooms later, but
Mhm.
I think he's been making that more dramatic transition in recent years, or trying to
Yeah.
anyway.
Yeah,
Well,
he's
that's
spent
that's too
like
bad because he's funny.
yeah, like I agree. I know him from Parks and Rec. I know him from Party Down. But he has been trying to kind of grab the rudder and kind of change what he's doing. Like he was on Big Little Lies, he was on Severance. Like this kind of makes
hmm
sense as part of the path he's on.
Oh, and he
Um,
was really funny in The Monkey last year for his
oh
prologue
yeah.
scenes and that. I forgot about that. That's a good bit.
Yeah, Hokum, I don't know, it seems fine. It seems like it's it's one of those movies where it's like I kind of want to wait to see what people think when it's actually out. 'Cause it's like, okay, how much of what they're promising is actually in the movie? It's, kind of A24 trailer disease. Like, is this
Hmm.
gonna be anything? This is not an A24 movie, as far as I know. But
It looks like one, frankly.
yeah, it,
Oh,
it,
I was
it
thinking more Bloomhousey a little bit,
Not
but
as maybe you're right. Is Backrooms A24 because that looks like an
I
A24 as
I
well.
think so. I think
Okay.
if Backrooms is not A24, I will eat my hat, but I'm looking at
Obsession.
that
One of
right
those is
now.
A24. I saw an A24 logo
yes,
at some
Backrooms is
point when we
Yeah,
A24.
were.
Backrooms
Yes,
is
yeah.
Okay, of
A24. We'll get
course
to
it
that.
fucking is. Yeah.
Obsession is Blumhouse. Hokum is someone
Oh,
else.
that okay. It's all falling into place. All
Yeah,
right.
it's a horror month. We will get there. This one is oh,
Neon.
it's Neon. Okay. Hey,
Yeah.
that's
Oh,
something.
well, that's the
Which they
most
usually have a
reputable
pretty
of them
good
all.
pedigree.
Yeah,
Yeah,
this could
Um
win the Palme d'Or.
oh sure.
yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I'm holding off. I don't really dislike the creature design. I think it looks more Japanese than Irish, but maybe I just don't know enough about Irish folklore. I should look
It's
into.
multicultural. Yeah,
Yeah,
Japanese demons and Irish folklore. I don't know.
maybe.
So
Um, but let's move on to the next weekend. I'm sure we're going to spend a full hour talking about Mortal Kombat 2, right?
I
Yeah.
Sure.
I really I really I really hated the first one of this reboot
Okay.
Yeah,
film,
it
and for
sucked.
some pretty like some of it was, I mean, like the fight scenes and the gore were good, and that's halfway there. But like the main character is a guy we've never seen before, and there's like this is so petty. There's no fucking tournament. Mortal Kombat is a
Hmm.
tournament. No,
I think they're
Mortal
fixing
Kombat
that
9.
now, right?
Yeah, well, that's why I'm excited for this one because
Okay.
Yeah.
there are four Mortal Kombat movies, and the two where it's not a tournament are definitely the worst. So,
Hmm.
of those, well, let's wait and see. Maybe this will be terrible too, but it has, it brings in the one character from the original game that they left out. I don't know how I feel about Johnny Cage as a character or his performance. Is that Carl Urban,
It
or
sure
is he
is.
someone else?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Uh, Not sure. That could go either way. The fact that, I mean, just the fact that it just needs enough plot to be connecting tissue between very gory fights. And I heard the "Get Over Here" in the trailer, and they knew
Uh,
how to play to the fans. And I was like, I'm going to see this movie in theaters, even if it's terrible. I saw Mortal Kombat Annihilation in theaters, and
Ha.
mm.
I don't regret that. You have to see it at some point in your life. I just got it over with. So
I've still avoided it because I quite like the '95 one and just never saw a reason to watch Annihilation based on what everybody says about it. But
I
I
mean, you have to experience it at some point. But I am excited for this movie.
it definitely looks better than the last one, and I agree. The last one, the best part was the opening, right, which was sort of the heavily previewed and internet intentionally leaked early the fight between Scorpion and Sub Zero before they are either of those people at the village, right, where he comes and murders Sub Zero's family and all that, and we just get like a really good bombastic wuxia inspired bloody battle between the two of them. And then, yeah, most of the first movie proceeded to be nothing
It's
happening but character introductions and
it's like it's a good scene, but it's not a great opening for a Mortal Kombat. Both Sub Zero and Scorpion, they're kind of, I guess it depends on the film or on the game, and they're both bad guys, right?
sort of
They're
Sub Zero goes back and forth, but yeah,
yeah,
yeah, you
Scorpion.
know, they're
Scorpion's definitely, he's always been a kind of a bad guy.
but yeah, this one, if they lean into the fights and they're well choreographed, that'll be enough. I think. Like the effects don't look good. The CGI looks bad in the trailer, but I kind of expect that, and I'm fine if they're giving me, full spectacle out of it rather than standing around introducing people the entire film.
did I see Kano again?
He
As
was like maybe one of the best parts of. Oh wait, no, of the '95 one. I really didn't like him in the last one. Who wasn't playing? Who was playing him?
he was also very dead in the last one. So
Oh
I
yeah,
mean, this
yeah,
is
yeah.
Mortal Kombat. So that's
That's awesome.
I don't know. My favorite part of the last one is having a woman get sawed in half. So there's more of that.
Yeah. They'll bring
Okay.
Kano back from hell, right? People come back from hell constantly in Mortal Kombat since it's an actual
Uh,
place you can visit.
I don't actually I don't actually spend a lot of time following the game's lore since I since I discovered women. So okay.
Oh my goodness. Well, okay, so I guess maybe we could talk about this for an hour. I was not actually anticipating this. I personally have no relationship to the Mortal Kombat games. I could not like I know a lot about Mortal Kombat through cultural osmosis, but
Hmm.
I cannot separate out what things I know are from Street Fighter versus Mortal Kombat.
Oh,
Like
sure. Yeah.
when you Gavin
It's,
mentioned there were four
I'm
Mortal
silently
Kombat movies.
judging
What?
you. I'm silently judging you.
I feel completely safe from this judgment that I don't know about Mortal Kombat. I feel no shame about this. But yeah, when you said there were four movies, I was like, oh yeah, The Legend of Chun-Li, and I was like, oh, I don't think that's right.
Oh,
There's just not. It is a hollow cavern in my body of
yeah.
where Mortal Kombat just doesn't exist.
And you
Um,
triggered something for me, Brendan. If I could say one last thing, when you said that I realized of like the difference between making these movies in '95 and now is that the games themselves are now one long bombastic movie. Like they're an interactive, huge, cataclysmic movie in which you then briefly play fights between these cutscenes that play out. And the games can deliver with modern, very expensive CG graphics, like everything that you would want out of that high production value Mortal Kombat thing. And so then I think a big problem the last movie has was you come and sit we didn't go to theaters, we watched that one on HBO, I think, because it was like lockdown era. There's just
yeah.
like nothing there that the games aren't already delivering better. We're not in the era of 93 or 95 when the game cutscenes can't really accomplish that. Like you can get the better movies at home and you can play along with them, and it's kind of what is the point? But the point is another place to watch Mortal Kombat.
Yeah. IP baby. Wait, so is Mortal Kombat the game where you can play as Freddy Krueger at a certain point?
Yes.
Okay.
You can play as
If
everybody. You can play as Jason,
Okay,
the
if
alien.
Freddy Krueger shows up in Mortal Kombat 2, let me know. I will watch this
this
movie.
this is news to me. Or it's like my knowledge of Mortal Kombat ends basically with Mortal Kombat 3. So that's or 4. I think I played
Before
4.
all the multiverse hijinks, yeah.
That was a lot. Yeah. So I yeah. Anyway,
Hmm.
Anyway, so also out May 8th, the movie that I'm more excited about is The Sheep
The
Detectives.
sheep detectives.
It looks really hokey, but
Uh-huh.
it is about a herd of sheep trying to solve the murder of their farmer, and that gets me in the door. Um, and
sorry. Apologies.
No, it's okay. Look, I love a whodunit. I love Agatha Christie nonsense. I think this. Hold on. I think this is a genuinely British movie, and I think that the British know what they're doing for the most
Well,
part
it's
when
an
it comes to
American
this
director
kind
because
of.
he's the co-director of the Minions movies,
Right.
Well,
right?
those
Kyle
are
Rudder?
French people.
From
But
a
right.
director of Minions.
Okay, well,
Yes,
never
but he
mind. I
but he
take
is
it all
very
back.
American. Like,
Um.
uh,
Anyway, so yeah, I guess it's kind. I guess it's maybe American masquerading as British, which I have been fooled by. It's a co-production, but anyway, it's like
oh yeah.
it's got a bunch of British people in it. It's got Nicholas Galitzine, who I am growing to like. He's still like on the bubble for me as far as like, are you a good actor? But Emma Thompson's in it. And then
Oh,
a
she's
whole
always fun in these, and in a
yeah,
sort of goofy kids movie, villainous
she
performance.
knows what she's doing. It's gonna be weird, and I hope it is weird without all the edges sanded off. But I'm curious how it's gonna be. It's got to be better than like the Peter Rabbit bullshit. So I think
Yeah,
I think it'll
sure.
be okay.
From Craig Mazin, the writer of Chernobyl and The Last of Us, but also The
Yeah,
Hangover Part
a
Two and Three.
natural fit for the director of Minions. This is yeah, I have no idea what this is gonna be.
I saw the trailer and I thought, well, like I saw the concept. I thought, what kind of I guess this fits the very definition of high concept, right? So sheep solve their shepherd's murder, um, and but also made me wonder if they were high in the different senses. I was wondering, like, are the sheep going to talk? When I first saw the trailer, I was like, oh, they're going to talk,
Sure
and
are.
like,
Yeah,
it's going
that
to be a
makes me
real
nervous.
yeah, it's going to be like a real murder mystery. Or they're going to turn out the shepherd's been alive the whole time. I don't know. I was not engaged by the trailer. I was kind of scratching my head, wondering who is this for. It is not coming to France as far as I know. So I will have to rely on word of mouth whether I missed a real gem here.
Well, I will let
Uh,
you know the weekend of May 8th on Letterboxd.
right,
For
yeah, it's in time for Mother's Day. As
Well,
the trailer
somebody's got
reminded
to
us,
got to do a talking animal double feature, right? Like, got to wait for the
with
weekend
the
that they're
Animal
both
Farm.
playing. The
Oh my God. Um, Yeah, that we might talk about in a little bit, but
Yes, yes.
I think we shall move forward to another curious combination of filmmakers. Um, Billie Eilish, Hit Me Hard and Soft, hyphen, the tour live in 3D. It is James Cameron's fourth co-director credit ever in his career. The other two were docs, or two were docs. One was a short. This is a concert documentary that he co-directed with Billie Eilish, allegedly. Um, and congrats to both of them. That's
Yeah.
a really
You know,
peculiar situation that's interesting.
the title reminds me. Are you guys familiar with the movie the Science of Sleep? It's a Michel Gondry film
I have not seen
about
it. I'm familiar with the
an
DVD.
eccentric who is trying to court his neighbor, and he makes weird inventions like a 1 second time machine, and he makes glasses for looking at life in 3D. And she goes, but
Mm.
real life is already in 3D. And that's and that's how I felt while watching this. It's like, why are you making a 3D concert film when real life is already in 3D? And why are you making a concert film? Why why does the trailer have no concert performances in it? It's
Mm.
like this kind of deity worship of this 24-year-old who I barely like. I don't know. She's like an alien to me. I don't know anything about Billie Eilish.
Apparently, it's
Um,
because James Cameron's close friends with her mom, and they were in a conversation about vegan food choices and sustainability that they're both very passionate about, and food
okay.
programs that she does. And so the Cameron was the one who pitched it to her about her daughter, and then they got Billie Eilish on board, which is I sure I guess that's a reason to make this.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was
I,
friends.
Yeah. Well, one thing I would say, I mean, I'm not gonna watch this. I don't really care about Billie Eilish. I'm, happy for her. I mean, it's just her music doesn't speak to me. But I will push back slightly on that. Like 3D concert movies have kind of existed for a long time. They might be a dumb idea, but they are
But I
consistently a
would
dumb idea.
the same critique applies to all of them.
Yes.
I do not see the appeal of concert movies, to be honest.
No, it's
Often they're
it's
just
just
too
Although
expensive to go to the real
that's the thing.
I'm not
Like
concerts.
even sure. Yeah, well, I'm not even sure if I've even seen one. Not even stop making sense. To like really famous ones, but
yeah, I
I
have
just
only
know
used
like
concert movies.
negative attraction for this. I resent the fact that I had to watch the trailer for this podcast.
But yeah, concert movies to me have always been like if you weren't able to go, you get to see a little, you get to experience, the paler version of what it might have been like.
Hmm.
But we do get, actual filmmakers showing up to make these movies sometimes, like with Stop
Yeah.
Making Sense. And Martin Scorsese did one at some point. I don't remember.
He's done several, hasn't he?
Yeah, I believe so. Um, so it's always kind of interesting. It's like, okay, what are you bringing to the table? And I don't know if you remember this, but speaking of great filmmakers, Morgan Spurlock of Super Size Me did the One Direction concert movie from 2013.
Morgan
Um,
Spurlock of blessed memory,
Sure.
though.
mhm. But anyway, for true James Cameron heads, go see it. Go see it in 3D, biggest screen possible. That's what you have to do for a James Cameron movie.
Hmm.
It's
Um,
true.
it's the law. Um, anyway, Gavin, I think you have some French releases from the 13th and 14th that you might want to
All
share with
right,
us.
and I closed. Yes, one of them is the new film by Asghar Farhadi, the Iranian filmmaker. It's called Histoire Parallèle, Parallel Stories, I guess. And looking at the cast list, which is Isabelle Huppert, Virginie Efira, and Pionini, I'm going to guess that it will not be in Farsi, which is already a knock against it. I have not seen any of his French films for the sole reason that they're not like that they're in French. I want to see Iranian films in Farsi, which is why Panahi will always be a better filmmaker. Um, that's but that's not even the one I'm most excited about. It's like just while I was doing research for this, I discovered um, a couple years ago a stop motion film called Junk Man came out, which is like the passion project of this weird Japanese guy who made it pretty much all by himself. And it came out about the same time as Mad God, and
Huh.
That's what it
which is kind
reminded me
of
of.
it is a lot like Mad God. The problem is Mad God is much a much better film, better made film. But I got to see Junkman first, and it's great. It's like a descent into hell film. It is super weird.
Is it
This guy
Junkhead?
is it Junkhead or Junkman? No, it's
Sorry, because I'm looking it
Junk
up and I think it might
Junkhead
be
is
Junkhead.
Junk.
yeah.
Okay, just a second. Junkhead.
Yeah, it looks really neat.
And the prequel, or I guess the sequel prequel, takes place a millennium before. It's called Junk World, and I don't care about how it connects to the previous film or not. It's more of the same, and I'm going to see it the second it comes out on May 13th. And I hope that all of you out there listening have some way of accessing the original because it's quite underseen.
Yeah,
Hell
I'm
yeah.
gonna
And
hunt
I
it
get
down now.
the best metric of whether you'll enjoy it is if you enjoyed Mad God, but it's not as good as Mad God, but in the same ballpark.
Mad God with
Okay.
fart jokes per the trailer. It looks like it's got
I
little
guess
little.
it's got zany humor.
Yeah,
It's got a wicked sense of humor.
cool.
Scatological. There's a good scatological jokes. I laughed at least one of them. Uh, that's um that's all I'll say about that. It's a joy discovery. Um,
Yeah. No, keep an eye out for that. I need to check out Junkhead.
Hmm.
I think I've had it on a list of mine of things I need to watch with my husband, who's a stop motion aficionado, but we haven't
Mm.
gotten around to it just yet. But let's hop on over to May 15th. Back in North America, we've got In the Gray, the new movie from Guy Ritchie. It stars Jake Gyllenhaal, Henry Cavill. It's like a fucking military spy kind of thriller that the thing he's been
didn't
doing.
did he already make this film? No, it's like Henry Cavill reminds him like the man. That's a man from Uncle, right?
Yeah.
Who was Cavill with in that one?
Army Hammer.
Hmm.
Oh yikes. Okay, well, okay, that explains why he didn't come back.
Yeah, yeah. If Army Hammer existed in a vacuum, he'd probably be back for this, and they'd be like, "Oh, it's the reunion 10 years later or whatever." But yeah, kind of. It just feels like the Guy Ritchie thing he's been doing lately, which
Yeah.
people seem to like. Some people seem to like, and I don't necessarily care about. How about you, Gavin?
I mean, I have no interest whatsoever. The trailer bored me. Uh, I saw that Isaac Gonzalez? She was in this, which
Hmm.
catches my attention, but she's in a different film coming out this month. So
Might
that
as
was
well
the
just see
one
that
thing I
one.
was. Yeah, yeah, I'll definitely see the other one. The other one looks much more interesting. We'll get there.
Mhm.
So no, count me out for this one.
Great. I think that's three count us outs for the table. It sounds like.
Yeah, I sort of checked out of Guy Ritchie by the time of The Gentleman. I mean, I had kind of before that.
Mhm.
I watched The Gentleman and hated it, and I'm just like, he seems to be getting like bitter and nastier and more puerile as time goes on. Like
Hmm.
more and more of like some deeply conflicted, internalized homophobia, like '90s adolescent brain
Uh,
thing. It like infests his films for me, and the attitude towards women. It's always like it kind of like under the surface, just noxious. And they're not that funny to me, and so and I'm tired. I've seen his shtick of the way he does action scenes in style and flair. But so many times now, it's begun to feel more like a crutch or an affectation than
mhm.
something that excites me or is interesting to see in movies. Maybe Man from Uncle was the last one that I felt that way about too. So yeah, I'm over him. He's not for me personally anymore.
Yeah, fair enough. I'm totally there. Although I'm like one of the three people who kind of liked the live action Aladdin that he did.
Okay, sure. I didn't watch that
Um,
one.
no, that is okay. You're not really missing anything. I just look, I love a
Silently
live
judging
action
you again.
musical.
That's
No, no, no. I love a live action musical. I thought Will Smith was actually doing something kind of interesting as the genie, and I was like, all right, this exists. This is better than any of these other ones. And
that
certainly,
might be true. Better than the other ones I've seen, at least.
yeah, and the better 2019 live action Disney movie because they also did The Lion King that year, and that was a pile of garbage. But anyway, also out May 15th, we have a horror movie we referenced already. I believe it's the feature directorial debut of Curry Barker. He
Yes, treating it. Are we supposed to know who that is?
I will tell you who that is.
Is it
Um,
related to Clive Barker?
no, 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 no.
Okay, well that was my guess. It's like probably not a child. I doubt he has children. So knowing
No,
what I know
no,
of Clive Barker.
no. So this guy Curry Barker, he's part of a internet sketch comedy duo called That's a Bad Idea.
Mm,
They've had quite a few kind of viral, you know, comedy sketch internet videos. But last year he released for free on YouTube this like roughly an hour long short film called Milk and Cereal, and cereal is spelled like serial killer. Um, and it's like a $500 short film that's like a pretty good twisty turny kind of uncanny, weird serial killer story that was a lot of fun. And this movie is about, or as far as I can tell, it's about a guy who wishes for the love of a girl, and the wish comes true, and the wish is maybe not exactly what he hoped it would be. And that's kind of all I need. I'm excited about this one. I thought he showed a lot of promise with very, very little budget. And that's exactly what you get when you start working with Blumhouse. And these days they are less on the just let an auteur do what they're going to want to do train.
mm.
Um, but this seems like kind of a classic Blumhouse thing of like they maybe just stayed out of his way and kind of we're gonna get to see what he wants to do with like a little bit more money, and I'm into that. How about you,
I
Caleb?
I love that Kerry Barker was not inspired by the short story The Monkey's Paw to write this movie, but by the Simpsons episode in the Treehouse of Horror where Bart gets a monkey paw and causes a whole bunch of chaos out of there. The trailer it looked potentially good. This will be a word of mouth one for me, depending on what folks here and in my circles think about it, whether it moves me to go to theaters for it. I'll see this one on streaming regardless, probably. It's a good concept, even if it's not necessarily the most original thing in the world. I'm curious enough to see how it plays out from the trailer.
Yeah, how about you, Gavin?
It piqued my interest. I think I will see it in theaters. So there's nothing better playing. Um, that's all I can say. There was a scene where his wish transformed girlfriend laughs loudly and uncomfortably beyond
Yeah.
socially acceptable boundaries. And for some reason, that was the moment I decided I would like to see this film. And I cannot explain that. Uh,
Hmm.
the only thing that annoys me is that the generic title "Obsession," which is already the name of a very famous movie from like what the 40s, and from the guy that did, I think it's the guy that did the Leopard. Um, and I
Luchino
noticed that
Visconti.
we have, yes, I've noticed that we have a lot of title recycling in this. There's already a famous film called Obsession. There's already a quite good movie called The Breadwinner, the cartoon saloon movie.
Oh yeah.
And Mandalorian and Grogu is the title of a Lumia Brothers film. So like, why can't they come up with original titles?
Very good. You were dropping spoilers left and right for the next couple minutes of our conversation. But no, I
It's
that was a
just
great joke.
for people who did not know that it would come to that it was coming out in May. If you didn't know that the Mandalorian Grogu is coming out in May, I think Disney has problems on their hands.
They
Oh,
they
they've
sure
made
might,
sure
but
we know.
they sure have. But before we talk about that, we Gavin, you had a couple more
Sorry.
French ones from May
Oh,
20th. We want to throw
was
those
there?
out.
I have to check to see what I was going to talk. Oh yes, Autofiction,
Mm.
uh, which
A
is the
much
new film.
worse title.
The new film of Pedro Almodovar. The original title is Amarga Navidad, and I don't know Spanish, so I must presume that Amarga Navidad is literally translated to autofiction.
No, it
Uh,
means bitter Christmas.
Yeah.
yes. Okay. I
Which for
don't know
anybody
anything.
looking for it over here, I think it's getting released as Bitter Christmas in the U.S. Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, I don't know anything about this film, but it's directed by Pedro Almodovar, and I get to see it before all of you. So that's two middle fingers
Yeah,
to you
I'm
people
I'm
in America.
furious about that. But I have consistently had to be because his movies always play at some European film festival a year before I get to see it, and then
Hmm.
I just have to wait and pretend that because he's always working on the next thing by the time I get to see the first one, so at least they come out at a
Yeah,
steady
yeah.
clip. I also know nothing about the plot. It's an Almodovar. I'm gonna see it. He's my favorite director. And he's back to making movies in Spanish because the English ones are not really doing it for me, other than the human voice with Tilda Swinton, which was incredible. But the short film that followed that was A Strange Way of Life with Ethan Hawke and Pedro Pascal. That was the worst thing Almodovar has ever done. And The Room Next Door with Tilda Swinton and Julianne Moore was a little bit more what I was hoping for, but it just him in English feels a little stiff still. He needs to work out the kinks. I'm happy to have him back in his wheelhouse.
Should also point out that we're getting in France a biopic of Maximilian Kolbe. The French title is Maximilian Kolbe, and if you don't know who he was a Catholic priest who exchanged his life for another person in one of the Nazi concentration camps. It makes me feel like every non-Jewish person who died in the Holocaust is going to get their own biopic at some point. There's one about Dietrich Bonhoeffer got one a few years ago. Sophie Scholl got one a long time ago. So it's
I
like,
was gonna say this does sound like an Angel Studios type movie.
except it's about is it Angel Studios?
I don't think so.
I'd be shocked.
They did Bonhoeffer.
They did. That doesn't surprise me. Bonhoeffer was a Protestant. Colby was not. That makes a difference. He's not one of theirs. Franciscan friar and priest. Yes, Franciscans are traditionally Catholic. So I will not be. I will not be watching that. I just wanted to poke fun at it. The original title is Triumph of the Heart, and I think that's a shitty title. Maximilian
Yeah.
Kolbe is very bland, but at least you know. Oh,
It gets the point across.
yeah, yes. You're watching a biopic of Maximilian Kolbe. The French like to do that. Milk became Harvey Milk. In case you
Oh.
thought you were seeing a movie about the dairy product. Uh,
Yeah, I think that's it for the 20th from France based on what you sent over. So we can talk about the Mandalorian and Grogu now.
Must we?
Um, well, it's the other big movie of May, so I think
Sure is,
we gotta
yeah.
briefly glance at it.
speaking of shitty titles,
God,
Yeah.
yeah.
people I know. I mean, I'm not. First of all, I'm kind of looking forward to this because I do not pay any attention to TV, Star Wars TV, and have not been watching The Mandalorian. And I'm not like the idea. This is like the first Star Wars film in theaters in what 7 years.
Yeah.
Uh, Gets me just a little bit interested. On the other hand, I know I wish I could pretend that I don't know what Mandalorian and Grogu mean, but I do because they're freaking everywhere.
Mhm.
And even before that, as a Star Wars nerd in my youth, I know about the Mandalorian armor and Grogu is Baby Yoda, and that's all I know. I don't even know what time period this takes place in terms of the Star Wars universe.
Do you want
After
to
the
know?
most recent films.
Nor do I.
No.
I don't particularly care. No, I actually don't. I don't care. I imagine everyone else is going to avoid this like the plague.
Not everyone else. I'm curious how this is going to do box office wise because it's a big mystery. I don't know. For me, I have seen all three seasons of The Mandalorian. That's the one Star Wars show I like actually kept up on. I mean, I saw the Obi-Wan one, and I also saw the Boba Fett one, that's the one that really threw me off because I was like, what the fuck is this? It was garbage. Um, but yeah, The Mandalorian kind of decreased in quality as it went along, as many TV shows do. Um, but I don't know. I do like Baby Yoda. I like seeing what that guy's up to. Sigourney Weaver is in this. It's not gonna be anything, but I think I could sit through it. So whatever. I'll see it. Caleb, how about you?
Yeah, I fell off after the second season of the show, I think. I never loved it from the beginning. There'd be like, oh, that was a pretty good episode. That was a pretty bad episode. It was kind of, middle of the road. I did enjoy the old serial style. We're just going to do a different little radio play each week. Different setting, different characters. It was fine, and it just eventually started getting repetitive. It seemed like they were starting to contrive ways to keep the Mandalorian in this babysitting role, and eventually just that pressing the reset button constantly means that it can't really have the sort of big overarching Star Warsy sort of stakes that you would associate with the movies. Like, I have a feeling even this movie will end with the reset button to continue for further adventures of the Mandalorian and Grogu.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like this movie is such a branding exercise. It feels
Yeah.
so insipid. And like we're not gonna get anything that exciting about it. But like I did like season one of The Mandalorian because it was very true to the Star Wars ethos because Star Wars is just what if the Hidden Fortress was in space, and this is just what if Lone Wolf and Cub was in space.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
so
And
sure, but mm,
it looked better at first too. Like they were doing a much more consistent job with the effects and the production design early on. The longer the show's gone on, I'd noticed, and other than the big finale one, like at the Imperial base and all that, it started to have more of the thing that all the Star Wars shows tend to have now, other than Andor, which is that they're filmed on the volume.
oh,
Disney's big like surround, not rear projection, but the modern equivalent of rear projection for every scene, so that you don't have to have the actors acting in front of nothing. This has sort of replaced the green screen for a lot of modern Star Wars and MCU productions. The consequence, though, is that their shows are starting to look the same all the time, and the shots are like all constantly center frame, with objects not around the characters, but a good 20 feet into the background. Like, so more and more, all the modern Star Wars stuff, they're just standing in a big room that once you start to notice this, and it really starts to bug me after a while, that it's just obvious they're not there. They're standing in the volume in the center of this big dome of or wall of projected things, and it does give better lighting than doing it all on a green screen does. They can actually match it a lot more to what the actors are doing. But it does get really, really samey, like all the saber duels and the acolyte, all the action, and in the Obi-Wan show, and then a lot of the action scenes in Mandalorian, and gosh, you just said the name of the Boba Fett show, the Book of Boba Fett. It just starts to all look and feel the same after a while. So that's kind of, maybe it's a movie. They'll probably put a lot more into it. It's got a much bigger budget than any given episode of the show. So it might be fun and bombastic enough to justify the theater outing.
yeah, we will just have to find out, and we certainly shall. But also that weekend we have I Love Boosters. It's the new movie from, oh fuck, his name fell out. Boots Riley. Boots Riley.
It's Riley.
Yes. Oh yeah.
The second I saw his name, I was like, "Say no more. I'll
Sold.
watch it."
Sold.
Oh,
Okay.
um,
I will say I was kind of let down by Sorry to Bother You. It just didn't deliver the experience that I was kind of thinking it was going to. But I am really invigorated by the trailer to this movie. It looks really fun, looks really poppy and colorful. Like I'm in.
yes. It's like a more explosively vibrant Cruella. Like that was what it was reminding me of in
It wouldn't be
concept.
hard.
Yeah, right. And because that movie had such amazing costumes, and then color grading and lighting that sapped all the joy out of all that. And if I weren't already in the bag for Boots Riley, like that color palette and the costumes in this, and what we were seeing of the over the top comedy of those scenes, that, and then Kiki Palmer, I think would have me sold on this one as is.
How about you, Gavin?
well, I saw Isaac Gonzalez was in this, and so that erased any interest
Ah.
I had in the Gray. So I imagine it'll be a very small role. Seeing Demi Moore revive doing. I guess this is the first time I've seen her since The Substance.
Yeah, this is the
So
kind of
hopefully,
roles that kind of Oscar nomination gets you. You kind of get to be the
if
the heavy.
if this is as wild as Sorry to Bother You was,
Hmm.
and a lot of the accolades that were playing over it, said it was maximalist, which is always a word I want to hear
Yes.
with my movies. And it's 100% Rotten Tomatoes, which is almost meaningless, but not a bad indicator. It could be 0% on Rotten Tomatoes. That'd be a bad indicator. It's,
Hmm.
um, I actually want to know as little as possible about the film now because I want to be
Yeah.
surprised. But I also don't think it's on the French release schedule, so this is a trade off. I get to see
Ah, boo.
Almodovar, and you guys get to see Boots Riley. So that's
We'll come together at some point
Hmm.
across the
so this
pond.
this will probably come out in September, I'm guessing. Uh,
Mhm.
This will be an opening weekend one for me. I think it's
Oh
the
yeah.
most excited. I think of the U.S. releases on the slate so far.
So you're not super excited about our third title, which is Passenger. Um, it's a horror movie about some sort of hitchhiker ghost situation.
yeah, it seems so generic. It was the one horror movie
Yeah, yeah.
coming out the one horror main release that did not capture my interest whatsoever. I was like, nope, pass.
I will
Uh,
say the original teaser trailer for Passenger has like that one good scare with the car continuously like driving past the passenger on the side of the road.
Oh
But
yes, that teaser was good. Yeah.
yeah, but the way that it ends, it felt very much like the kind of shitty CGI goblin face you get at the end of like every YouTube short film from 15 years ago.
Hmm.
Um, and like it felt very creepy pasta, and that can sometimes get under my skin, but I'm I don't think this is going to be very good.
No, and Andre Øvredal,
Yes.
the director of Troll Hunter, I think has been searching for another Troll Hunter since he made Troll Hunter
Yeah,
of trying to recapture that magic.
didn't he do Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark too?
Yes, and the Last
Okay.
Voyage of the Demeter, which I didn't really hear anything
Oh,
about that made me want to see it, and Mortal. Um, yeah, he's starting to feel like a he had one great concept kind of guy to me, and is struggling to get back there again. But you know, if people say that it is as scary as that teaser,
and
that
they
would be
won't.
something to get me on. No.
But yeah, no, if it gets great reviews, hell yeah. But this is probably a wait and see. I agree. But yeah, Gavin, I think you have one more title to throw at us from the French schedule on the
Oh no,
26th.
I was just going to complain about concert films again, as we have
Oh, okay.
one that's I don't know if it's Charlie 9010 or Charlie 11010.
It's Charlie XCX.
Uh,
For the listeners out there
it
who
was
don't know what's going on.
10 110. Charlie 10 110. Anyway, it's just like why like who goes to see these I guess fans of this singer. I'm not a fan of this person. I did not know who this person was until people started dunking. She came up on the Discord and someone said a bad thing about her and then they got dunked on. So
Well, Charlie XCX is
apparently she's powerful in the gay community. I don't know anything. Just like Billie Eilish, I don't know if they command different armies or what.
yeah,
It's like tell me when they make a concert film about Dua Lipa because I'll go see that. Uh, but
that's
not.
interesting because I think Dua Lipa and Charlie XCX are kind of on the same level as far as gay fame.
Do they dance similarly though? Do
I
they look
well,
similar?
maybe kind of.
What is just
Dua
let me
Lipa
check.
is
First of
basically
all, how old is
invisible to
she?
me. Um,
Okay.
yeah, Charlie XCX, she did
33. Wow, okay, that's good. Okay. That's
she has been around. She has done songs you have heard of. She did that Iconopop song like I don't care, I love
Hmm.
it.
oh,
Um,
okay.
uh-huh. And she also did Fancy with Iggy Azalea. All songs I'm sure people remember very fondly. Um, but yeah, she is having quite a year. She was in 100 Nights of Hero. She was in the Faces of Death remake. She did the
Hmm.
music for Wuthering
Yeah,
Heights.
wow. The Faces of Death remake.
I
That's moving up
know.
in the world. That's
Um, yeah, she did the music for Wuthering
is
Heights,
it
and she had that A24 movie about her, or a fictionalized version of her called The Moment. So now she has this. It's just this is her year.
right. I'm
Everyone's
looking
trying to
at a
capitalize.
promotional
Mhm.
I'm looking at a promotional photo for the moment and she looks like Tommy Wiseau.
Well,
Uh
I don't think I agree with that, but you don't have to like Charlie XCX. That's fine.
okay.
Okay, we're running a little short on time, so let's get to May 29th. We've got two big titles. We've got Backrooms, another horror movie. This is the A24 one where it's like promising trailer. Will it be anything? I don't know. Caleb, what do you think?
Interested, although Severance, speaking of, already mined the Backrooms conceptually so much.
Mm.
The Backroom sort of emerged as a creepy internet pasta thing, a creepy pasta out of the SCP Foundation adjacent fandom for weird liminal spaces. It's the poster child for the weird liminal spaces horror scene. And this is more expressly horror than Severance. Severance only ever really dips its toe into that. It's more like conceptual horror.
Uh-huh.
And I think this looks like that plus the cube kind of getting stuck in a maze of increasingly strange and horrific things that become traps that will kill you. Not maybe as over the top as the cube. Like this seems like it's starting more low key, but I like the concept still. I'm
Mhm.
interested. It could be done. It could be done well. The trailer
Yeah.
has me intrigued. So
No, and I like Cube. I like a creepy liminal space. I don't know if there's a feature here, but I'm
right,
I'm
should this
willing
have
to
I
been a
give it a
short?
shot.
Maybe.
the evidence of the trailer is a guy walking around empty an empty maze for most of it and
Yeah.
only
Chiwetel
intimations
Ejiofor.
only intimations that it'll get weirder. Space is closing in on you. You need like hazmat suits for some reason. Um,
Mm.
and also the seeing A20. Whenever I see the A24 logo now, I groan. I was like,
Mm.
I go like even when I go to a movie I wanted to see, and I don't even I don't pick movies I want to see based on the production company usually. And then, like at the beginning of it, I see that alphanumeric combination. I think, oh god, it's one of these. So that's um I
Yeah,
think it's strange that there's a cult formed around it. I don't judge. I don't judge the film based on that. But this, for me, this is like word of mouth. No, I'll wait for other people to
Hmm.
report on it before I see
yeah.
it.
Whereas you're probably gonna rush out to see the other title that weekend, which is the Nate Bargatze vehicle, The
Who's
Breadwinner.
who is
Good
this
God.
person?
He is a comedian who is very much that. I had that reaction to him, but this happened last. He hosted something, maybe he hosted SNL. But he popped into my life a year ago, so at least I'm like, okay, I know that guy's face, but I have not encountered his comedy. This is just Mr. Mom with Nate
Yeah.
Bargatze.
Or the
Um,
pacifier. It's like it's one of those. Like we're doing these again, I guess.
yeah, but the pacifier had like an action element to it at least.
True, true. Yeah, yeah.
But it's just one of those movies where Hollywood kind of discovers every 3 to 5 years that fatherhood exists, and they are freshly shocked each time. And no, I'm not seeing this.
God, the
Uh,
jokes are
it's,
right out of the 80s or early 90s. Like what are we doing here?
uh,
Like the whole like oh my god, dads can't parent thing
I
or
was
shouldn't or
wondering
aren't
it.
expected to. Like
I was wondering if this was Angel Studios because it seems so regress, so
yeah.
regressive. It's the idea that men can't parent because women were designed by God to be good parents,
Uh-huh.
and not business mavens. And that's just, and of course, Mandy. I saw Mandy Moore. I was like, this is. I'm deeply suspicious of this film's intentions. It was anti funny, and
Oh
not
yeah.
coming to France. So I don't even.
Also, it looks like it was shot on the volume stage. Like it looks really empty and digital and weird. I
Yeah,
saw the
yeah.
trailer for it in front of something I saw recently, and I was like, "What the fuck? Why are they?" I don't know. It looked really slack in every possible way.
Yep.
Um, but let's see if there's anything redemptive about the kind of limited releases of the month. We're just gonna pick one to kind of kick around a tiny bit. Gavin, is there one that was looking exciting to you? You probably won't get it in France right away, but maybe.
Well, there's one that I'm curious about, but I feel like everyone might be curious about the same one.
Tell me.
We might as well discuss the Animal Farm. That is Angel Studios.
Yeah.
Bringing a version of Animal Farm
Oh.
directed by Andy Serkis with Seth Rogen in the role of Napoleon. Of course, he is the first person. I mean, when I read Animal Farm, I read Napoleon in Seth Rogen's voice. Uh, I mean, there's one thing is like making an animated film of Animal Farm. Okay, it's been done before, distributed by Angel Studios. I heard that's kind of like an accident. But when I
They
when
they
I
do
actually,
just distribute family stuff these days. It's not always like super Christian.
well, yeah,
Mm.
okay, so that's, I mean, there's an accident. So like Angel Studios really has nothing to do with the film. But like when I watched, it's like what tonal mismatch. Do these people read Animal Farm
Yeah, it
and stuff?
I doubt
And
it.
especially at the end where they call it a cautionary tale, and tale is like the tail of an animal. So it's like a terrible pun. And then immediately after they say for ages 11 and up. And I was like, who is this film for?
yeah, it kind of reminds me of that movie The Star that came out in like 2017, which was the story of the birth of Jesus as told by some wacky, animated
Yeah,
animals.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
not the worst. Well, I haven't seen that one, but I've seen some pretty terrible nativity films. So
That
that's
at least you can understand why they're executing that concept. That's almost an old concept at this point,
yeah, yeah.
talking manger scene animals. But this is like you've got the rights to Animal Farm, and you choose to make like a way sub illumination,
Oh, for
Andy
sure.
Serkis directed joint. And I got to
Yeah,
say,
it's like it's like what
his
if Animal Farm was Home on the Range?
yeah,
wow.
um, which at least is hand animated, so it had some legacy appeal in that at that point because we weren't getting very very many. Um, and this is just like has Andy Serkis his director career I think is just proving that he needs to be back in character roles. Like it's just
Yeah.
one real stinker after another at this point. Arguably his best was Venom Let There Be Carnage, I think, which was aggressively okay.
That's and that's not even damning with fate praise. That's just damning.
Yeah.
I had forgotten that he even directed that. I was like, I don't think any of his directorial, right? Like
Mowgli, Legend of the Jungle, the awful companion
right,
to the better Disney live action Jungle one, coming out like a
right.
year after or something, or around the same time.
Yeah, speaking of those kind of blockbusters that come out at the same time, or at least movies that have the same concept that come out at the same
Dueling
time.
films, whatever you want to call them.
And his definitely lost that duel, no question there.
Yeah,
for sure. Oh,
it's
sorry. Yeah.
like it appears that they're going to slap a happy ending on it,
I
which
think they
would
have
defeat
to,
the
or I
whole.
think they're going to.
What did the
Mm-hmm.
did the British animated film from way back when? I never
I
saw it.
haven't
There's
seen
like
it either. I can't believe it changes the book this much.
yeah, I like that's like defeating the whole purpose of the story. Anyway, moving
Yes,
on.
Caleb, what's your pick?
I don't want to see any of these, to be honest. From
Okay.
the minor and limited release, I guess I had the most thoughts on either remarkably bright creatures I just couldn't believe is even coming out. It's like, that Twitter meme, every book now is either called The Tiny Things We Know to Be Small or The Darkest Wife. And when the trailer started doing stomp clap music in it, it just completely sealed. This movie is like Trapped in Amber from 2006. And I can't believe it's seeing release now, I guess, in a limited way.
It reminded me of an Onion column entitled I insist that you read this terrible book. The book was about like a man who could speak to ghosts that come back as animals.
Oh my goodness.
That's all I could think about when I was watching that trailer.
Oh,
yeah, it does feel that way. And for the record, that's dropping on Netflix on May 8th for all of you who are interested.
Yeah.
I want more Lewis Pullman on my screen, but this is the monkey's paw wish
yes,
for getting that to happen.
Sure is.
But was there a title that you were more excited about than that?
No, I just have bad things to say about. I hope Pressure isn't yours, because that I was just.
You think that I would pick the movie with Brendan Fraser as Dwight D. Eisenhower? No.
I don't think that.
It's like when I was watching that, I thought this looks like Darkest Hour shit, and then it says for the producers of Darkest Hour.
Yep.
It sure does.
There is a movie I'm mildly excited about, or at least because like my boyfriend and I my husband and I, gross. We watch a lot of heist movies, and there is a movie called Tuner.
That is one I would watch.
Yeah, it seems charming. It's about a piano tuner played by Leo Woodall, he's an up and coming guy. He was opposite Bridget Jones in her newest movie.
Sure.
Yeah, but he was also on The White Lotus. He's like around. But it's a piano tuner with like highly sensitive hearing, and that helps him unlock safes. And I'm like, you know what?
Yeah, sure.
That's the kind of like dumb kind of indie heist thriller that I would watch. So I'm down to do that. But anyway, let's wrap things up. Let's point people to where you can find you want them to find like new projects of yours, you online, whatever. Caleb, where can people find you?
They can follow me on Blue Sky and Letterboxd at Caleb Wimble, and I guess also on Backlogged if you're interested in my video game opinions there. And you can follow my game design work at sojournrpg.com. Great.
How about you, Gavin?
Right. I think the only social media I have is on Letterboxd. Oh, I have an academia profile up there somewhere, but I don't update it. And it's not terribly interesting. Yeah, I've heard that. They have some bots or like Vietnamese people go around stealing your work and pretending it's theirs. So that's wonderful. You could read my movie reviews on Letterboxd and my monthly column here on Alternate Ending.
Great. Yeah, also on Alternate Ending, you can find more episodes of this show and others. You can find reviews by Tim and not as often by me anymore, but some of mine are on there. Yes. You can also find me on Letterboxd, find me on all the socials under It's Raining. No, I changed it. What was it? No, it's Raining, Brens. Never mind. I've lost my mind. Next up on the show, if I have the schedule correct in my head, we're gonna get Mandy kicking off May with an episode of Your Movie Rocks, which I am on, and I'm very excited. We haven't recorded it yet, but it's a movie that I've been wanting to talk about with literally anyone for a long time, and Mandy is actually the perfect person for it. So it turns out that title was waiting for her. So keep an eye and keep an ear out for that. And until next time, bye.